Hey y'all, fresh out of the shower, had more time to think. I was already fired up about that Deaf Noodles thing earlier, and then I got on Spoutable, which is my social media hubbub of choice because I don't want to be a captive audience to bigots on Twitter/X. And I seen people talking about that Cassie Hutchinson girl and how we all need to extend grace to her because she was young and she didn't know what she was getting into. And she's literally on a book tour saying things like she's a Romney Republican. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the main problems I have with the people who are still Republicans after everything, especially January 6th, especially everything Trump has did, the fact that they're still trying to legitimately run this man who has been federally indicted for treason against our country. I say company, Freudian slip, I guess, because America is like the biggest conglomerate in the fucking globe. But not to get too far off point, people who continuously call themselves Republicans, whether they want to be cutesy and call themselves Romney Republicans, are telling people like me that they are opportunists who are willing to look a certain way as they continue to come after our rights and restrict our living as safe citizens because we don't look like them, worship like them, act like them, identify the way they want us to. It is about control. And the fact that there are people out there getting on people like me who say, I don't extend grace to this young lady. I don't have it in me to give a drop from my well of empathy for somebody who willingly and continuously signs up with a party that wants to restrict our rights as women, anybody who considers themselves an ethnic minority, and even those of you who think you're above that, who don't realize that if there was a real culture/race war, you would not be on the side you think you're standing for. But so many people don't get that. But what bothers me is the ones that don't seem to understand that I can give you enough grace to understand that you feel empathy because when you look at Cassie Hutchinson, you see a daughter, you see a niece, you see a grandchild, you see your family. It's the same way I feel when I seen Elijah McCain. It's the same way I felt when I seen Ayanna Stanley Jones. The same way with Tamir, Trayvon, and so many other adult black names. Because even though I shouldn't include Elijah as a child because he technically was a grown adult, he still felt like a child to me. A child who didn't get a chance in his own country to live and have a fair judiciary system for something he didn't even do wrong. But this woman who literally was A-OK on board with sedition, was Trump's main girl, to the point where even after the January 6th things went down, she worked in Mar-a-Lago. Now she's doing the book tour. She's testifying to save her own bacon, and you want to treat her like she is doing the thing? And then you want to tell people like me that I need to extend her more grace? I don't think so. Because she's still a Republican. She's still profiting off of what she did. And she has not remotely tried to apologize, take accountability for her beliefs that restrict the rights of people like me. And if you cannot see that, if you don't want to see that, just admit that you are not my ally, because I think too many of you don't get that. I understand empathy to a certain extent. I know I don't express it or utilize it the way normal people do, but I do see how it's weaponized against people to try to control how we feel about the situation. And I'm sorry, I said it on Spoutable, I mean it. If you are still a Republican in this day and age in our country, you to me have openly declared your war against our democracy, our war against people being able to live, grow, and progress without your regression. So I'm sorry, no, I'm not going to play these games because you feel sorry for oh, she was a young girl when she did it, and she might have toned. She might, but she hasn't. So what are you even saying to people? What are you even doing defending us? You're looking like fools, and I just want people to stop it. Even if you feel some sort of way and pity for this young lady, I want you to think before you push into the faces of the people who don't fall for the okie doke, who don't need to heroize everybody in our demographic. But maybe it's starting to dawn on you that you don't have a lot of people to look up to And that crushing realization has you glomming on to anybody that shows a shred of integrity. And I'm being generous even saying that, because she's literally on a book tour profiting from everything she did while working with Trump, and it's disgusting. But like I said, this is probably one of the last Bonnet shorts, because it's not a full Bonnet Chronicles, that I will be doing in this house. The last time you'll see this bathroom background, because I'm in my bathroom, is the best sound acoustics in this place. I just wanted to do one last thought on this because it was so infuriating, and I am still on break. I am not coming back till next month after we get moved into a new house. But when you feel so strongly about the crap that people say to you on social media, even a peaceful place like Spoutable has been, I just had to weigh in on why it's wrong to try to make others extend grace. It's like I said before, you can't tell the people who have historically shown grace to a country that has spit in our faces and disrespected us for over 400 plus years to have grace for people who are still not treating us right. You are lucky we ain't burned this mofo down. You are lucky because we have the most reason to want to burn this mofo down. And all we want to do is build it up so that everybody can live good. We want everybody to feel good. But we are tired of being disrespected by the people who just want to enable bad behavior and look the other way because you're not indulging directly in the bigotry. So you think that's enough. And you can look away from people who are openly trying to harm and hate us because, well, I'm not doing it, so... And this person testified against Trump, and I can ignore the fact that they did that to avoid jail time. And they're young, so they have a chance to be better, but they're not trying to be better because they're still affiliating with the people who want to reduce our rights as citizens. You can't make that make sense. But since enabling and coddling white supremacy is embaked in our society, it doesn't shock me when so-called liberals, especially white liberals, do stuff like this. But what you don't understand is that so many of us are tired of not pushing you back because the dangers of not opening your eyes, even if we have to force them open to the realities of the situation, means you get apathetic. You hang back and you let your feelings dictate over common sense, and we all suffer. So you can call me a know-it-all Negro if you want. You can mock anything I just said, but you know you can't dispute what I just dropped down on this Bonnet short because too many of you extend the same grace to a literal domestic terrorist enabler, if you don't want to call her a direct domestic terrorist, which I do, than you would a black kid in a hoodie. And until you see what's wrong with that thought process, what's wrong with your attitude and where you're willing to extend your sympathy versus where you're cautious, you and I can't really be allies. And that's it. I will see y'all all next month.